like I can say those things like, yeah, I'm worthy. Yes, I'm willing to receive. But until I actually started to believe those things, nothing really was working for me.
You are listening to the Beyond the Classroom podcast, a podcast for burnt out teachers who know something's gotta give. After teaching for 14 years and feeling completely burned out for way too long, in May of 2022, I made a big decision and left the classroom. I now help burnt out teachers like you take back balance and joy so you can wake up every day loving your life. In this podcast, we'll explore who you are beyond the classroom, whether you're considering leaving or wanting to make changes so you can fall in love with teaching again. Either way, I understand what it's like to be living a life that looks fun and cute on the outside. You know, summer's off, playing all day, off at 2 o'clock every day, but actually feels miserable and draining. I'm your host and coach, Sandy Patterson, and I'm so excited to help you step into your fullest potential and believe in that potential to make an impact on the world, not just survive each day. Are you ready? Let's do this.
Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Classroom podcast. I am Sandy Patterson, your host and certified life and business coach, and we are here again today for another episode. And I am so happy that you're here with me today. I just want to thank you for choosing to spend a few minutes with me today, just chit-chatting. It really, truly means the world to me, and you are literally why I do this podcast and why we've made it to over 50 episodes now. So we are rocking and rolling. I'm excited to record this episode today. It'll probably be a short and sweet one, depending on how much I feel like talking. But I had a very, very near and dear friend reach out to me on Voxer, and she asked me such a great question, and I felt like this question could really turn into a great episode here for the podcast because I know so many of you listening are in the process of starting businesses or building your businesses and growing your businesses. And this question, I'm putting this question in my back pocket for sure to ask anybody that I come in contact with, like ever again in my whole life, that owns a business. So I'm going to play the question for you that she asked, and then I'm going to answer this question for you. And like always, I would love to hear your thoughts. So here is her question.
So what I wanted to ask you specifically was, if you had to say, like, you've obviously had a lot of growth in your business since coach training, and I mean, that's pretty easy to see. And obviously knowing you, like, it makes it more apparent to me. And I'm just curious, like, would you say there was one specific thing or a couple of things in particular that really, like, helped skyrocket your growth as coach, like your growth as, like, in your business? Was it something IGC related, or was it something like you started doing, or started believing or whatnot? I'm just curious, what has been like that one thing for you that just, like, it almost was like a light bulb, or like getting hit in the face by a 2x4 that, like, made you just, like, jump 10 notches up into the stratosphere of your coaching business?
Okay, so there is her question. What a great question, right? Like, what is the one thing or the things that catapult you forward or that have moved you forward so far? And not that there aren't going to be more things continuously throughout the process of growing and building a business, right? But it's just good, I think, to stop and to think and be like, what are the things that have moved me forward the most? Like, what are things that I'm really, really glad that I did, or glad that I said yes to, or glad that I dug into, or glad that I decided to move forward with? And I also love how she talked about what is something that you, like, maybe it's a belief, maybe it's something you started believing. And I think that there is a lot of mindset work and there's a lot of strategy in this. So as I was thinking about her question and how to respond, honestly, there isn't just one thing for me, but there are, up until this point, 4 things that have really, really helped me move my business forward and catapult me forward, like she said. And not that I have it all figured out, because I don't think anybody actually does have it all figured out. But these are things that kind of, we talk about like the 10x, right? These are things that have 10x'd me quicker than anything else that I put any energy or effort into. So I'm going to tell you what these 4 things are. And then, I guess that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to tell you what these 4 things are for me. And as I'm telling you, I also absolutely always encourage you to think about what are the things that you've done so far in your business that have catapulted you forward, or that you've seen a lot of ROI on the effort or the time or the investment. Okay. So the first thing that I will say that really was a game changer for me as far as my business and my coaching business is the mindset piece. And I know that I talk about this a lot, but I truly, truly believe in it. And I believe that it's something that makes my coaching a lot different than a lot of other business coaches that I have seen, is that I combine the strategy and the mindset. So you literally can't do anything in your business if your mindset is not in check and is not right. So we dig into this a lot. And for me, this was something that really, really catapulted me forward. It was a decision to just stop messing around and to just go and do this, and to own my expertise, and to show up as the expert, and to show up in this space where, maybe I don't know everything, but I'm an expert in this area. I can help you do this. I have something that can help, essentially help change your life. And so the decision to step into that, and that doing that mindset work too. And there are a lot of beliefs and habits and thoughts that came from my previous career, right? Like my 9-to-5, my teaching job. There was a lot of baggage that I brought with me into my business. So digging into that baggage, and when I say baggage, I'm talking about things like worthiness, it's okay for me to do something that I absolutely love and that really fulfills me at the end of the day, and not have it be so hard and so draining and so depleting on my soul at the end of the day. It's okay. And it's also okay to receive. It's okay to receive help. It's okay to receive money. It's okay to receive all of these great things that the universe has in store for me. But I had to really tap into this idea that I can say those things I'm worthy. Yes, I'm willing to receive. But until I actually started to believe those things, nothing really was working for me. And these were things too that I didn't even think twice about. I didn't even know they were a problem. I was oh, well, I'm doing all the things. I'm, posting on social media, and I'm, doing the thing. I'm sending the emails out. I'm producing the podcast episode every week. Why is nothing happening? But really the shift in the worthiness, and me stepping into this expert space, and just really not caring anymore. And this openness to receive, just receive from the universe. I said, that these amazing things that are in store for me. It's one thing to say the things, but it's actually another thing to actually believe them. And like I said, I didn't even actually realize that this was a problem until I started digging in with my own coach, right? Because these beliefs are hard to pull up sometimes, because they're not in your conscious mind. They're sitting and they're running on autopilot in your subconscious mind. So you have to be able, and you have to have guidance on how to pull them out. So that's the first thing that really catapulted me forward, was focusing and prioritizing my mindset, and focusing on and believing in my worthiness to receive, and just this energy of I'm done messing around. Let's do this. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is it for me. This is just it. Let's do this. So that was the first thing. Now, the second thing that catapulted me forward, and I remember this time frame too of and I just kind of mentioned it, I kind of alluded to it a second ago, but when I had this space of my business, of my coaching business, where I was doing the things, but nothing was really working. So what I did, well, it didn't feel like it was working, but also how do you measure success, and how do you measure if things are actually working? That's a whole nother episode. So we can talk about that later. But I committed during that time to being uncomfortable. And I did a whole podcast episode on being uncomfortable. and why it's so important to be uncomfortable. So I will link that in the show notes if you want to go back and listen. But I literally, during that time period, and this was like awful, but well, I say it was awful, but it wasn't actually awful because it catapulted me forward, right? I committed every day to doing something that made me incredibly uncomfortable, like where I was like squirming, where I wanted to throw up a little bit in my mouth, where I wanted to pee my pants a little bit, where I was just like, I'll do anything. Like I'd rather go clean the bathroom than do this. And for me in that time, when I look back at this, the things that were making me really uncomfortable were things like, and these things are silly to me now, but that just goes to show, right? It's all about the growth and the 10X. The things that made me uncomfortable were things like getting on sales calls or talking about my offer, talking about what I had, basically talking about my services, right? Talking about myself and being like, hey, I'm great. Like, come work with me. Come do this. Like, let's do this. But really, it's putting myself intentionally in those uncomfortable situations that made those things not uncomfortable anymore. So now these things are not uncomfortable to me at all anymore. Now they're just part of like what I do in my business. But I specifically remember that like time frame. It was probably like a couple months. It was probably like a solid 2 months where every day I was like, what am I doing today that is going to make me want to throw up? And obviously it worked because again, it made all of those things comfortable now. Like now I have no problem. And it actually even spurred this whole thing with my family. Every night I try to ask them, well, I've always done this, but I've always asked them like, okay, you guys, like, how was school today? What was your kind today? Like that's how we word it. What was your kind today? And so, you know, everybody has to say like something kind that they did for somebody else, and then also something kind that somebody did for them and how that made them feel and all those good things. But then we added to that question. I added to that question because of this, like, what did you do today that was brave? How did you use your brave? Basically, like, how did you get uncomfortable? How did you step outside and do something that's going to push you forward, even if it makes you feel really, really uncomfortable at first, right? So that's become like a standard dinner table question. And it is kind of hard to get to get it out of my kids, but I'm trying to share with them all of the examples of times that I use my brave, right? And I have to be uncomfortable. And it's just part of growth, and it's part of doing the thing and pushing forward and not letting the fear of doing the uncomfortable thing stop you from the growth, right? Because we know there's growth on the other side of anything that we do that's scary. So that is number 2, getting uncomfortable. And now I'm also thinking right now, I guess I'm intentionally thinking right now, what can I do right now in this next phase of my business that's going to make me really, really uncomfortable? So I'm going to think on that, and I'm sure I'll share it on Instagram. So make sure that you're hanging out with me over on Instagram. Okay, the next thing, this is a big one. So the third thing that catapulted me forward was learning how to sell. Okay, now this is, I think it's something that unless you like have a sales background, most people are like, have no clue. If you're like me, no shade, I literally had no idea how to sell what I was doing. Like at that point, I knew that I was a really good coach. I know that I'm a really good coach, and I knew that I could coach people and work them through things and help them achieve really, really great results. I knew that already. So that piece was solid. I just didn't know how to sell this service that I was offering to potential clients or to my dream clients, right? And if you literally don't know how to sell, you cannot serve your people. So you have to know how to sell. And after doing like a lot of, you can like YouTube anything, but after doing like a ton of research and like, how do people sell? Like, I'm a teacher. Like, I don't know how to sell anything basically, like, except for maybe like a phonics lesson to a group of like 5-year-olds. But I didn't know how to sell when it came to me and this service that I was providing. So after doing a ton of research, I realized that selling is really, it's like an art form, and it is something that you can learn, and it is something that you can practice, and it is something that you can get really, really comfortable with. Like, there's literally a step-by-step process that you can take to sell your offer and to sell your services and to help your people, right? Because that's the whole reason why you're in business, is to help your people and to make money. So, and if you can't sell what you're doing, you can't do either of those things. So you're kind of SOL unless you know how to sell. So for me, learning how to sell, that was the third like huge thing that I would say catapulted me forward. And I took an incredible, I think it was, I don't know if it was 6 weeks or 8 weeks, but it was a course on like how to learn how to sell. And it was a live course done through Inner Glow Circle, which is the coach training program that I actually went through. They offered this course, right? And I will link that in the show notes as well, because that is probably one of the best investments that I have made in my business. Because again, like I have video of me, you guys, like getting on a sales call and like people being like, yeah, I don't know, I can't afford this. And me just being like, okay, bye. and ending the call. And again, like this goes back to being uncomfortable. Like it's like funny to look at now because I would never do that now. I know how to handle objections. I know how to paint the picture of value here. I know how to do all these things, but back then I had no idea. And it was scared. Like I was uncomfortable. It was scary. It's a scary thing, but I pushed through and I kept going. And I was again willing to put myself in really uncomfortable situations that made me feel, number one, uncomfortable, and also made me feel like I had no idea what I was doing. Like I was prepared to look like an idiot, which I did many, many times. So learning how to sell and looking like an idiot and being okay with it, that is number 3. Okay. So if you don't know how to sell your offer, I would highly recommend practicing. Again, like I said, sales is something you can learn. It is something you can practice. It is an art form. Literally, it's an art form, just like teaching is, right? Like teaching is an art. Selling is an art as well. And I am so incredibly thankful and grateful to IGC for that 8 weeks spent in that program and the feedback that I got and just all of the knowledge that I got from that and the practice. And it was a catapult. It was for me, it was like, that was part of the 10X for me is like, you know how to sell now. And the other day I even, my husband doesn't really like pay attention to like anything that I'm doing ever. Like he's amazing. He's awesome, but he just is kind of like, doesn't really pay attention. And the other day I got off a sales call and, I came out of the room and he was like, damn. And I was like, what? And he goes, that was really incredible. Like I had no idea that you had it in you. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, you like selling your offer. Like you wouldn't take no for an answer. And I told him, I'm like, you know, with that particular client, like I don't take no for an answer because I know how valuable this is. And I know what is on the other side of this person investing. And I understand those fears that she's having. I understand like how it's a scary thing and she's not sure about the ROI, but I also understand what's on the other side. And I believe truly wholeheartedly that I can help her and I can change her life. I can help change her life. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. I don't take no for an answer. If I believe that I can really help the person, but I was really proud of myself because I was like, oh, even my husband is like, wow, that was great. You know, and he just doesn't really ever, he's just like, what are you doing? So that's number 3. Now, the last thing, number 4, and this is one that I added on kind of as I've been like mulling over this question, but if this one wasn't in place, there's no way that my coaching business or even my first freelance business would have ever been successful or taken off. And that is investing in myself and also investing in the right people. So I did not just like decide to leave my teaching job on a whim and then figure this all out on my own. No. There has been, and I will continue to be, investment in myself. And for me, the investment in myself, it looks like therapy. It looks like coaching from other coaches to help me, again, go back to number 1, mindset, right? To help me work on my mindset as I continue to grow and scale my business. And then it looks like these like courses, like I said, and trust me, I love a good course. Like I will buy courses all the time if I feel like they're going to help me. But it goes back to that sales course too. Like that was one of the best investments that I've ever made. And this is not to say that I haven't invested in courses that I am like, I probably could have done without that. But there's no way I would have known. And I don't regret any investment that I've made in my business thus far. So it's investing like monetarily in myself, but it's also investing in the right people, surrounding myself with the right people, with people who have already done what I want to do, who help me believe that it's possible for me, people that have my best interest at heart, people that are like in a similar situation to me, right? That are in their same phase of their business so we can brainstorm and work together. So investing is number 4, and it's investing in like monetarily, yes, but it's also investing my time and energy in the right people, in people who I know are going to help bring out the best in me and who are going to help push me forward when I'm like, oh, I'm scared. I don't want to do this. Should I do this? In IGC, we call them like your board of directors, right? Like it's your people that you go to when you're like, what should I do here? What am I not seeing? How can I see this from a different perspective? Like, how do I handle this? Or, oh my gosh, this has happened to you before? Like, how did you handle it? So those are the 4 things for me that have catapulted my business forward. Number 1 is my mindset and my examining my worthiness and my ability to receive. The second thing is being willing to be uncomfortable and look like an idiot over and over again to make it happen and to get what I want. Number 3 is learning how to sell my service, learning how to sell, how I can help people. And number 4 is investing in myself and investing in the right people, surrounding myself with the right people and letting go of relationships and things that weren't serving me anymore. So I hope that this is helpful to you, and I hope that it gets you thinking about how, number 1, the things that you've done prior to you listening to this that have helped move you forward. And also, probably even more importantly, what you're going to do as you continue to move forward to catapult yourself forward, right? Because we are all about, and I know if you're listening to this, you are just like me. We're about sustainability, but we're not about like taking our time. Like, let's go, let's do this. If I can do this one thing and be really uncomfortable, or I can do this other little thing 100 times and be comfortable, I'm going to choose the one thing that makes me uncomfortable if I'm going to get the same result. And I know that you're the same way too. So please reach out and let me know what you've done, what's catapulted you forward so far, and what you're committed to moving forward. So catapult you forward now even more, because it's continuous growth. Like we never like get to a spot where like, perfect, I got it. I got it all figured out. Yay, I'm done. No, this is like continuous growth, continuous evolution, and just continuous magic over here. So like I said, reach out to me, let me know, email me, or come find me on Instagram. I'm at Hello Sandy Patterson over there. I love to hear from you always. And if you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a really quick review. It just takes a second to tap the stars. And if you want to even do me a even bigger favor, you can leave a written review. And what that does is it just helps get this podcast into the ears of more amazing women just like you. So I would so appreciate it. And you guys, until next time, let me know what it is that you're doing to 10x yourself forward. So stop messing around what you're going to do this week or this month or today even to get uncomfortable, to be brave, and let me know. And I'll see you guys next time for the next episode. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Beyond the Classroom. If you know something has to change and you're ready to take the next step to make it happen, whether it's in or out of the classroom, let's talk it through together. Schedule a no-obligation chat with me and we can talk through where you're stuck, how to get you unstuck, and how to keep you moving forward. Schedule your free call today by clicking the link in the show notes. I can't wait to connect with you.